Alexander Schmidt, because he's not just an IT consultant, he's also a lawyer by profession.
I know. I would have done it a little bit differently.
I have to admit I'm not a full lawyer by German standards. I just did the first exam and then I left because I got sick of it. Okay, let me, this is my presentation and I prepared it and I just, the man who's taking pictures of me, I think he's making fun of me because he said, okay, let's make it this way, and now I recognize we don't make it this way today. Because I have the first slot, and this is every time, it's a 50-50 chance, what happens. It depends on the people before you on the third slot. And now this day went not so good for me. Because we had a climax, 2 climaxes, and now everybody's looking at me and says, okay, let me see how he's bringing me to life. I don't know, let's see. Okay, my thing is, I will talk about digitalization. The fun fact is it's written in S here, not in Z, because I'm a German guy, and I copied it. But anyway, just let me quickly introduce myself and my company and why are we here and things like that. And we are currently in a situation, we are talking about digitalization like for 10 years now. And the cool thing is, for the last 2 years, people start listening to us when we talk about it. And that's what the situation is. But to be honest, it's nothing really new stuff we are talking about. We are talking about architectures, we are talking about responsibilities and processes and stuff like that. And we always thought it should work this way. And now comes a new way, a new world into place with cloud and things like my predecessors talked about. And the thing is, what happens now to customers is they recognize, well, in the cloud before time, I could choose to hear what he says or to not hear to what he says. And now with cloud and giving my data, my processes and everything to another one, which makes the rules, there is no possibility to say, no, I don't. Well, it's cool. It's like DJing, it's like scratching. Should I do an effect? And now there's no possibility to say, no, I don't do it. You can't say, I don't go to the cloud, as we heard, but that's, kind of a strategic decision to not. Should I?
Don't move.
Don't move? I think. No? I'm offline now. Okay. Cool. Let's change the headset. Let's change the headset. Wow. No problem. Can you hold it? Well. Okay. Now you see it's cabled. No, you haven't seen it before, I guess. It was so very hidden. Okay, now what we do together with our customers, we are going on a digital roadmap because they decide to participate in the new communication channels and stuff like that. They see it and they say, okay, let's make this happen. And there are several points where we come into play. There are 4 points, which is, first of all, management consulting. We talk about the issue with the guys on the top and they try to understand it. Normally, and this is why this day is fun too, we come after the people who had the first talk, which is, very creative, and he talks about on a very high level. Then comes the legal stuff, can we do it? And then they say, well, let's talk about this with people who can actually make it. And that's why we normally come into place not on this stage, but on this stage. That's normal for my business. And that's what we did with Smart for Sugar too. There was a decision by BMA already made from management to say, okay, we want to do it in some way. We don't know how to do it right now, but we know we have to do it for different reasons. So Smart for Sugar was created as a brand, and then at some point eventually we came in and we told them, maybe you should do it this way, and then you can't do it in a waterfall process. It's not working, at least when you work with us, because we don't want to work this way. We can't. You have to adjust yourself to our process, which was very hard for the people at BMA, by the way. And then we do development eventually, and we do it, but it's the tiny part of all this stuff, because we know how to program. That's not the point. We have to gain your requirements in such processes, and that's the hard part. And I explain you why this is the hard part. So, why should I care? You know what? I was short before to skip this because of my of the other speakers, but let me share some numbers with you, some current numbers. Spendings for digital transformation from 2017 to 2019 from IDC, which are in the digital world are kind of, you know, the standard for numbers, let's say it this way. And here you can see it, 1.7 trillion is a market for this thing. How many organizations plan to bring in digital leadership as a first-class citizen in 2019, 40% of the top 500. And then AI, artificial intelligence, and data science. Is it something you hire people on? You plan to hire people on? And 82% say yes, definitely. 82%, and by the way, data scientist is a job design which didn't exist like 1 year before this day. And they want to hire someone which there is no educational thing in university which is called data science. But we hire them. Cool. Let's do it. Okay. When we come to customers, mostly they say the same sentence, you know what, maybe you have experience or whatever, but you know what, we are special. So what they say to me is, you don't know what we are doing. Maybe my opinion is, after 20 years in this, the products and services of a company may be special, but the people, processes, and needs are not special. That's not the case. We heard it already, all the stuff. We don't know your process, we don't need to know your process, because that's your business. Keep it there. I don't need to know it. But we are the ones, not the only ones, but we are the ones who understand the other side, which was the other coin, for instance, which we heard today. There is another coin, and we know it better than our customers, not everything, but we know what to do. So what is coming there is the next question. So what do we mean with digitalization? And we heard something of that, but let me just show you some points here, and then let me tell you a story, a real-life story. I won't tell you any name, but anyway. First of all, what we heard today, oh, that's a nice effect, it's not working. Products and partners. The effect worked on my machine, which is, by the way, every time the same, which you heard from IT. It works on my machine. But anyway, and partners. Yeah, and partners. So, fun fact is, what is missing here? Which party is missing? What do you think? What do you think which is coming next? Any suggestions? Is something missing? What? No. No. That's a big issue today. At all of our customers, because they now say, yeah, we want to digitalize ourselves. Okay, cool. Now we need the people to do it. And now they stay there and they say, okay, you know what? We do like we did it every time. We throw money on jobs, okay? We offer you money, we offer you something like a car. We know how to lease a car, so we offer you a car and stuff like that. And what they experience is, well, that's funny. People are coming here working for 2 months and they left us for a startup where they get half of the pay they got from us. What's happening here? So let me tell you a story at this point which kind of connects to the misunderstanding things which we heard today already. I was at a customer invited in 2014. It's a big eyeglass company which everybody knows, so I don't tell the name, but everybody in Germany knows it. So let's leave it this way. And they said, let's come together and talk about digitalization, like 4 years ago. But they said, at the first meeting, they said, cloud is not an option, by the way. Okay, cool. That was the first thing. Okay, then they said, okay, there's nothing in for us because we don't do cloud, so we can't digitalize, obviously. So let's leave and see at some day. 1 year later, we came together to the exact same customer because they had a problem. They recognized that their customer group from 15 to 20 suddenly had a drop in market in payments, in orders, a drop by 80%. And they couldn't understand why this happened in 1 year, a drop by 80%. So they tried to solve it with their things they knew. They made analysis on the market because their suggestion was this must be a competitor of us. And they wanted to know who it is and how does he make it. They engaged a buddy of mine, which has a marketing company, and he did this research and he came up at this meeting like, let's say, 30, 40 people in the room, and they were excited to hear which competitor was it. And he just said, it's none of your competitors, it's this guy. And there came a picture on the PowerPoint of a 18-year-old Chinese guy smiling at the camera, and nobody knew him. And everybody said, can't be, because we talk about several $1 million a year. And he explained them that this guy just built up in a quarter of a year a complete supply chain in the internet by doing the following. He just got into a 3D company and said, can you give me the following service? I want people to smile into their camera on the laptop. I want you to measure their faces, like, roughly measure their faces, and to give me the data. Second step, he got a catalog of frames for eyeglasses, which was, by the way, legally, let's say, gray. And he said, okay, you choose your frame. And then he had a company, which was not his company. He just ordered a service to 3D print on demand in the size, which was approximately the right size, to print it. And then he gave the customers the possibility to color it in their own style, like they wanted it. So it was printed in their own color. But the frame looked like a brand frame. And then the last step was to go to Amazon and to, rent a service they offered in this year the first time, which was delivery not to your address, but delivery to phone, which was pretty new. Which means Amazon had, in some countries, a delivery option to following deliveries which followed your phone, your location, where you was, which was experiences and raise up like young girls stepping out of a bus on their vacation, and there was a freaking, DHL guy with a package and saying, ma'am, your package. And she packed it out for $40 or 45, I don't know, and put it on, and that's it. And then, in this room, everybody looked at it and said, can't be, because this is crap. These eyeglasses are crap. They are not good for your health, first of all. Second of all, the dioptrine is measured very roughly, can't be. And my buddy stands there and smiled and smiled and smiled even brighter. And then the quality sucks. And he said, yeah, that's a business model he has. Because first of all, they are 50 to 20. They don't care about health. They think they are immortal. Second of all, they don't have an issue with their dioptrine. They want to look cool. And third of all, they are glad this $40 eyeglass is broken after 2 months because they need a reason to buy a new one from their parents. They love it because they can have 3 or 4 eyeglasses in 1 year. So I just told you this because it shows so very well, like business customers nowadays understand what digitalization is, but they completely misunderstand what it means for their business. And that's why we come into play and help them. So, I don't know, you know, this is my animation. Pretty cool. So, how does the cloud now come into this? What's happening here? So, there are 4 things cloud vendors offer you. First of all, standardization, in technical ways, standardization. Then there's automation, scaling, and a usage-based payment. This is what they offer you, roughly speaking. So that only means that everything you wanted from your IT in the past years, they already have it. You ever ask you a question, why it is so hard to bring in a new system into your software or IT environment? You ask your question, and your IT said, well, you don't know the answer because you don't know IT. That's it. That's not the answer. The answer is, it doesn't pay off for a company, let's say, with 4,000 employees to bring this online, because it's expensive. It does pay off for a so-called hyperscaler in the cloud, because he sells this to millions of customers. And so now, this is democratization, which you said. Democratization means, it sounds like, you know, a pretty cool thing, but it's just business at the end of the day. But what happens is, they don't have a chance but to automate everything. They can't afford a guy sitting there and spinning up your virtual machine because you need it. It doesn't pay off. So they have to automate. There's a pressure from the market. And that's what they're doing. And then, because they're living in the cloud, because they have huge data centers, there's no reason why they should not scale if you are willing to pay for the scaling. And that's what we did, at the end of the day, what we did for BMA. Just didn't build the data center, of course, but we know how this works, this word, and we made the transition together with BMA to bring them in. And that's what Smart for Sugar, at the end of the day, is really. It's a platform which is working, which is scaling to the demands of the customers of BMA, and which is working without BMA putting effort into it because there are 20% more customers. This effort is done by somebody else. So that's what Smart for Sugar is. So what can I do now? To be honest, I will skip this page now. I will end here. You know why? Because I can't do it better than the guys before me. So, okay. And because I think there's mealtime, and normally, you know what surprised me the most? When Mr. Schwanke lent to me, just right before I entered the stage, you know what I thought what he would ask me? I thought he would ask me to shorten my thing a little bit, because I know, thank you for this, but this is normally what they do with IT slots on things like, can you shorten it a little bit because we had so interesting slots? Well, thanks for this. You know, what happens. What I can say now is, you can ask BMA, as your partner in business, you can now ask BMA for a lot of things because they had a lot of pain in the legal area, in the process area, in the understanding area, and they went on this track, and now they are not finished, but they know a lot of stuff. So now, because you have a business relationship, there's no reason not to ask them about stuff like that, which is not what you asked them like 1 year before, maybe. So now you can do this. And this is my message to you. Ask them, or ask me at the break, or whatever, or my colleagues which are spoken here, because this is what we do. We're not trying to convince you that digitalization comes. It comes anyway. We don't have to. We are here to say, what can you do without losing control or without blowing up your mind to go on track? That's the complete message. And with that, I will give the last word to Mr. Schwanke, and I would like to thank you for listening to me.